What's going on, everyone? Before we dive into this video, I have a couple things to touch on. The first being that I am 18. This is a reminder to YouTube that this video was filmed and when I was 18 and I am currently 18. That means I am following all community guidelines, so there's no reason this video should be taken down or age restricted or any of that kind of sort. But we're going to dive right in and I hope you enjoy.
That was exciting. I came into this spot this morning that I scouted a couple of weeks ago, back in late October. I had a camera in here and there were several real nice bucks on it. I got them in the stand and I was feeling good about it. And about 10 minutes after first shot, I heard a deer walking about 50 yards over there. And sure enough, he walked all the way and got to about 15 yards. And it was a nice buck. And then at 15 yards, he locked onto me. And then he bounded away, but it was a cool encounter, a close one. So that buck is still over there. And I know there's several other bucks in this area, so we're all hoping one comes cruising through here. And should be a good sight.
So we are headed back in. It is around 1 o'clock, so we've got 3.5 hours till daylight, and I'm headed into this property. My mom and my brother hunted it this morning. They found a lot of sign, a lot of scrapes, saw a nice 8-point. So I'm gonna go to the edge of this marsh and hopefully hang this stand kind of where we can oversee most of it, and then ideally a buck will come out, or you know, some kind of deer will feed out to there. If it's a buck, we'll call to it, bring him in. So that's the plan. Gonna grab our stuff and head in there, so we'll see how this goes. Not super fresh, but that's a good sign. So we like to see right there. Shavings on top of that. Probably from yesterday, today. Really good sign.
So we're gonna go right in this cottonwood here. It's not a perfect setup, but it'll have to do. Pretty open, but we're kind of tight on time, and I'm not exactly sure where would be a better setup. So I think we're gonna just jump up in this tree and hopefully see something tonight. Okay, so I just got set up. I decided to just pop up in this cottonwood, and I don't have a lot of cover. I'm not too confident about it, but we can see a lot, which is good. Hard to say if they're going to be in the open. Part of me thinks that they're just going to stay in the woods tonight, but you never know. So it just takes one, and we're just going to kind of keep watching glass and everything out here. Our wind is pushing this way. There's a lot of stuff over here, but there's also a lot of stuff over here, so it's hard to say where the deer are, but hopefully something will slip by. Well, it's right about 3:55, so we've got maybe 30 minutes left. It's been a slow set. I tried rattling about an hour ago, and then about 15 minutes before that I tried gunning first, and nothing came in or responded to either of those attempts, so slow on. That's how it is sometimes in November, though. Alright, it is time to gum. Well, it's November 16th, and I snuck out to this little spot pretty close to my house that I've known about from past years. This property is pretty heavily hunted, but I'm all the way in the back corner, and it's just this little kind of riparian area with some alders in the middle of this super thick dog hair forest. Last year we found some really big roads in here, and so this year we came back, and sure enough, about a week ago we came back in here and found a really nice one, and smaller ups as well. And so we hang a camera in here, came back in this morning, hunted, and sure enough there was a really nice buck on here 2 days in a row, yesterday morning and the morning before that. So the stand for over 5 hours, and I have seen no deer yet. We have been on the stand for a little over 7 hours. No deer, obviously. That buck did not come through midday, and it's right around 1:30. We're gonna sit tight and just hope something comes through here tonight. So I've been sitting here in this stand for 9.5 hours, and I hadn't seen anything. But about 30 minutes ago, I started to hear some footsteps over there. I wasn't sure if it was a squirrel or if it was a deer. But then sure enough, about 10-15 minutes later, I looked behind me, and in a gap right there, I saw a deer walking towards me. It was actually standing still at first. And then two more came out, and the back two were does, but I never saw what the front one, which is the biggest one, was. And of course, when you don't know, your mind just starts playing games with you. So of course, I think it's probably that giant buck. But and then after about 5 minutes of them feeding around, they were headed my way. The one doe was like walking towards me. I guess they got my wind or something because they just turned around and walked the other way. Not this much for just for some does, but you gotta remember, I've been on stand for 9.5 hours without seeing a single deer. So those things really got me worked up. So I was like, probably better that it wasn't, that I didn't see what they were, because if it was that buck and I saw him, then he walked away, I just would have been freaking losing my mind right now. That's so frustrating though. But it's been a great day. I'd like to do at least one all-day sit every year.
So that was this hunt, and I hope you enjoyed it. I want to touch on one thing before we close this out, and that is rattling. So you might have seen me try rattling multiple times throughout this video. I believe I tried it 2 or 3 times, and this is something that I've struggled with a lot throughout my years of hunting. Now I've been hunting for 4 years for whitetails. Originally in my first season, I had some good success with it, and I called in some bucks. And then 3 years ago, that was kind of when the dry streak started, and I don't know if that's because of my technique or if that's because I wasn't doing it loud enough or whatever, can play into rattling being effective. But at the end of the day, I just wasn't calling in bucks anymore. And I rattled a lot throughout November 3 years ago, and then I rattled a lot throughout November last year. And last year I didn't have any success. I don't think I called a single buck in last year with it. And so after last year, I really started to think maybe there's something wrong with how I'm rattling. Coming into this year, I rattled quite a bit. This was the first video, or this was these were my first hunts where I started rattling. And I didn't have anything come in or work, obviously, from these attempts. But about a week after these hunts had taken place, I had a hunt, probably one of my most memorable hunts of 2024, and rattling was very, very effective. And so I did call a buck in, and I got a shot at this buck, and this will be in the next video. So I'm very excited to show this footage because it was a kind of reassurance to me where, once you see a buck, if you rattle to him, that's a lot more effective, at least from my experience. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you next time.